Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 28th, 2022. The time is 9:02 a.m. and I would like to call to order this meeting of the Alameda County Lead Poisoning Prevention Programs Joint Powers Authority. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to exemptions to the Brown Act provided for by Assembly Bill 361. The governor during the state of emergency has allowed for video and teleconference meetings of public meetings pursuant to AB 361, provided that the agency and that the body makes a decision within every 30 days that the necessity for continuing with teleconference meetings still exists during the current state of emergency. The board will take action on those items every 30 days in compliance with the statute. Members of the public can attend this meeting either in person at the Alameda County Healthy Homes Department located at 2000 Embarcadero, Suite 300 in Oakland, or they can join and watch and participate in this meeting by using the Zoom link provided for on today's agenda. Members of the public will have the opportunity to participate in public comment either by using the raise hand feature on Zoom, pressing *9 by their phone, or submitting a comment card to Ladice de la Fuente at the email address provided for in today's agenda. This time, I would like to ask if the secretary would please take the roll call.
Okay. Director Hardy. Director Hardy, can you unmute yourself, please? Director Hardy is present, but she's unable to unmute at this moment. Director Brown or alternate Savas?
Present.
Savas present. Director Vela?
Here.
Vela present. Director Wenra?
Present.
Wenra present. Director Gallo?
Present.
Gallo present. Director Bowders?
Here.
Bowders present. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Now is the time for public comment. Directors, alternate staff, or members of the public who wish to address the board for an item not on today's agenda will be afforded 2 minutes to do so. Do we receive any electronic comment cards in advance of today's meeting?
No public comment.
Okay, are there any members of the public here who wish to comment for an item not on the agenda? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We'll turn to agenda item 3, which is a resolution for AB 361. Please note, members, we're making findings consistent with the state statute in order to allow us to continue remote meetings due to the nature of the state of emergency. Is there any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Seeing no comment, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vela, second by Gallo to approve this resolution. Please call the roll.
Director Hardy? And Director Hardy's unable to unmute. Director Brown or alternate Savas?
Yes.
Savas, aye. Director Vela?
Aye.
Vela, aye. Director Wenra?
Aye.
Wenra, aye. Director Gallo?
Aye.
Gallo, aye. Director Bowders?
Aye.
Bowders, aye.
Okay, that motion is approved. We will continue our remote meetings. Item number 4 is the meeting minutes from March 24th, 2022. Is there any public comment for this item?
No public comment.
Seeing no comment, are there any corrections to the minutes?
Move approval. Second.
Motion by Director Wengraf, second by Director Gaia to approve the minutes from March of 22. Please call the roll.
Director Hardy? Director Hardy is unable to unmute. Director Brown or alternate Savas?
Yes.
Savas, aye. Director Vela?
Aye.
Vela, aye. Director Wenra?
Aye.
Wenra, aye. Director Gallo?
Aye.
Gallo, aye. Director Bowders?
Aye.
Bowders, aye.
Thank you. The meeting minutes have been approved. Item 5 is the lead in soil presentation for United by Success students. I see, looks like Nicola.
You see half my head.
I see someone's forehead, a couple foreheads.
You guys want to say hi to Kyle? Hello. Hi, Councilmember Kyle.
Well, there's clearly a favorite director here for this morning's crew.
He's coming to speak to their town hall this evening.
Oh, wonderful.
Can you give me the opportunity to share my screen?
Ladice, can you please?
I think I've got it.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go. Great.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on.
Hang on, let me get up there. Okay, and okay, I'm passing it over to these wonderful students from United for Success Academy. They'll introduce themselves and they will present to you the important work that they've been doing.
Great. Good morning and
Hi.
welcome.
Hi, my name is Susan. I'm 12 years old. I'm in United for Success Academy, and I'm a leader of Frontline Catalyst.
Hi, my name's Jordan. I'm 15 years old. I go to United for Success Academy, and I'm one of the leaders in Frontline Catalyst.
Hi, my name is Shayla. I'm 13 years old. I go to United for Success Academy, and I'm also one of the leaders of Frontline Catalyst.
Today's presentation is called Highlight Levels of Homeless Children.
In our Climate Justice Leadership Program, the 6th grade elective class and the after-school program have been learning about the environmental injustice of soil pollution and how it affects families. Many areas of Fruitvale have high levels of lead-contaminated soil due to the use of lead paint prior to its ban in 1978. The old and flaking paint ends up in our soil. Lead is very dangerous for children aged under 6, and so we decided to collect our own samples to see how bad it really is in the Fruitvale district. We partnered with eBay's, the East Bay Academy of Young Scientists, and Peralta Park. Our community science project was conducted in November and December of 2021.
In California, soil with a lead contamination rate of 80 parts per million is considered safe. We found levels much higher.
We collect soil examples from 3 locations: United for Success Academy, Peralta Park, and home of more than 10 UFSA 6th grade students.
Sorry. The protocols that we followed were provided by eBay's. We wore gloves and collected samples using a trowel. Each sample was placed directly into a small bag labeled with the student's name, location number, and area description. Each sample was recorded into the database. The soil samples were analyzed in the 6th grade elective class and this after-school program by using a device that x-rays the soil and provides a reading for each sample.
We chose 23 spots at United for Success Academy for soil collection. Some were located on the side of the school and others at the front of the school on 35th Avenue, as shown in the PowerPoint.
At Peralta Park, we identified 30 spots for soil collection. They were located up through the park and include area around the museum as shown as the PowerPoint.
Finally, 10 students from the 6th grade elective class chose to test the soil surrounding their homes. They collected 3 samples from different areas. 3 of the students were filmed by a camera crew working on a documentary about Oakland's lead problem.
At United for Success Academy, we identified 12 areas of high lead level contamination. They were all located at the front of the school close to 35th Avenue. The highest level we identified was 997 ppm part per million, which is 917 parts per million above California's safe limit. It is at the front of the school where parents with young children sometimes wait for UFSA students at the end of school. We believe the contamination comes from old paint on the school building as well as air pollution from the traffic on 35th Avenue before lead gasoline was banned.
At Peralta Park, we found 6 locations with levels of 80 parts per million, the highest being is 800 parts per million. The contamination source was identified around the museum building. We believe it is the result of old lead paint on the building wall.
In the community, we collected 20 soil samples. 15 of them were higher than 80 parts per million. At one home, all 3 of soil samples were high: 184, 360, and 728 parts per million.
According to CDC, exposure to lead can seriously harm a child's health and can cause well-documented adverse effects such as damage to the vagal nervous system, slowed growth and development, learning and behavior problems, hearing and speech problems. This can also cause lower IQ, decreased ability to pay attention, and underperformance in school.
We believe our findings are so important that we need to share our information with everybody in the community, meet with public officials about lead contamination, and to make the problem be addressed. Share our information with OUSD leader like you.
We have presented to 4 council members so far, including ours, Councilmember Noel Gallo. Oakland is getting money from lawsuit against the paint companies, and along with Gallo, we want to make sure that some of it comes to Fruitville. This is the end of our presentation. We thank you for listening and can answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Excellent job. Thank you so much. So before we take questions from our directors, let me just ask Ladise, could we take the screen down? Thank you. And do we have public comment on this item, Ladise?
There's no public comment.
Okay, public comment is closed and we'll turn to directors for discussion. I'd like to invite Director Gallo if he has any remarks to go first.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to the students and through our school leaders for bringing up this item that I think all of us are here for today. And certainly the county, the city, and the state are quite aware in terms of the challenges or the emergencies that we've had in the immediate neighborhood of East Oakland and West Oakland when it comes to lead levels in our paint and the soil and so forth. But I will ask Nikolai or the students if they can please share with us publicly the event that we're having this evening from 5 to 7 p.m. At United for Success, the town hall. Yes. Oh, you're on mute. You guys are on mute.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, we need to speak louder. Hang on. No, we're not on mute. Yeah, just.
The town hall is today from 5 to 7.
5 to 7, and we invited the community, right? Your parents will be present, school board members, OUSD, and any other information. Because I want to make sure that our county health officials are also represented. Nicola, if any, can you share that with us?
Yes, so we invited Carol Fife. Carol Fife is coming. We invited the school superintendent. I don't know whether he's coming or not. We have Healthy Homes. Larry, we have Healthy Homes coming and they are speaking and they are providing resources to the community. We have, who else do we have? We have La Clinica is coming. We have Homies Empowerment, we have Peralta Park, we have eBase who are going to provide the community with small bags so that they can actually collect soil from their homes, bring it to the school, and then eBase will test it for them. So we will be doing that. The kids have knocked on over 120 doors in the community surrounding the school. They've been to over 15 small businesses down on Foothill. We have sent out press releases. Your office has sent out press release. Carol Fife's office has sent out press release. Resilient Fruitvale is sending out the press release. So we have, and Karen Bass, not Karen Bass, Nikki Bass, they presented to her in person yesterday. And she was very impressed. And again, like you, Council Member Gaia wants them to present to the Oakland City Council. So they presented to 4 Oakland City Council members so far.
Thank you. Thank you. Director Brooks, in terms of follow-up to the presentation, what is our plan or strategy to not only share information with the public, but how do we make some of those improvements, corrections?
The students did point out the lead settlement funds, which we know that City of Oakland staff is working on some type of strategy to utilize those funds with the idea that they will prioritize it based on targeted areas based on histories of systemic racism. So we figure that the Fruitvale area will be one of those that will be a high priority based upon their race and equity impact analysis report.
But will there be someone from Alameda County Health Department be able to be present before the parents and community to kind of go over where we were, where we are, and where we need to be, and what's the strategy?
Just to clarify, are you asking for the health department or this department, Healthy Homes?
Whatever representatives from the county we can get to let the public know. I know we have the city. I think, Nicola, some city representatives will be there, right?
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that the county is present, because sometimes what the county does and says is maybe a little different than what the city's talking about. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, yes, Healthy Homes will be there, and we will also notify public health, but we would be primary as we're responsible for the county's use of the lead settlement funds. I would also suggest that and I'll follow up on this with our board members. I think the students should be able to do a presentation to the County Board of Supervisors as well. June is Healthy Homes Month. Traditionally, we do get to go and do a presentation to the board. I don't know if the students will be out on summer vacation then and may not be available, but if they are, I'd love to see them do this presentation before our Board of Supervisors. Maybe by then you guys will have your rap song ready. I know they're working on a rap song to talk that educates young people about lead.
Actually, Larry, the students were in a recording studio on International Boulevard on Monday, I think it was, and they recorded the song, and it's to a montage of photos of them actually collecting the soil, examining the soil, and we're going to play that tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, we don't get the sneak peek?
You can see it if you don't mind me pulling it up right now for you to
No,
see.
we do not mind.
Okay.
We would like to get the preview.
This is when it first goes public. So let me just pull this up.
All right, world premiere.
Yeah. And let me find it. I have to get rid of this one. Okay. Hang on. No, I want to share my screen. I just don't want to share this thing. Hang on a minute. I'm going to do this again. Let me pull it up on my screen and then I'll share it. That'll be the easiest thing to do.
Chair Bowders, I had a quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is for the students, but I want to put this forward. If they're interested in meeting with the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, I would like to set that up and be helpful in setting that up. I think these efforts are incredibly important. Obviously, there's been a lot of state legislation. Currently, there's a bill by Senator Wiener about eradicating lead and investing in lead, the removal of lead pipes in schools. But I think, these debates come up all the time. And one of the biggest issues is making sure that families know what resources are out there and how to get tested and that sort of thing. But if they're interested, I'd love to set up a Zoom meeting with Superintendent.
Larry, can you give Director Vela connect her to Nicola while she's setting this up? Can you connect her via email so that she can make that arrangement?
Sure can.
Okay, we're starting. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. Just checking. Is it going to start?
Hopefully she's able to share audio, so we'll be able to hear.
Nicola, are you hearing us? There we go.
Can you hear it?
No, there's no audio.
Oh, there's no audio? Oh my God.
I think you. There's a way you have to share your audio.
You
as
have to
well.
have
Hang on.
audio on.
Yeah.
Oh, started to hear it.
I don't know how to play this.
Okay, so it sounds like the world premiere will be tonight.
Listen, I know a lot about lead. I don't know a lot about technology.
I don't either, and we're going to give Director Gaia the world premiere tonight, and maybe you could send it after you've done that as a link, if it's a saved link somewhere. Send
Yes,
it to,
absolutely. We'll
send it to our
you
staff,
guys.
and they'll send it to all of us. That'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Director Wengraf, you've had your hand up for a
Yes,
while.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. And hi, Nikki. And
Hi, nice to see you again.
I'd like to know a little bit about your program, and I'd like the students to introduce themselves by name, and if they could tell us maybe how old they are and how they feel about their work on this project. I would love to know.
So the program is, it's a nonprofit that I started with a couple of friends. I was on the Bernie Sanders campaign. I was chief of staff to Jane Sanders, and we went around the country, talked to a lot of communities about environmental impacts and climate change. And after that, my friends and I got together and said, you know what? This is the time that we have to address this issue, because it's already should have been addressed decades ago. So we created this nonprofit called Frontline Catalyst, and we worked with the San Francisco State University's Ethnic Studies Department to create a climate justice leadership development program for students in frontline communities. And so they have been learning throughout the whole year. Shayla is in the elective class. She's been in it since August, and Jordan and Susan are in the after school program, and they've been learning about basically climate justice, but an environmental justice, but also the difference between the Western value system and the Indigenous peoples value system, and how we really need to approach environmental racism and climate change through the lens of Indigenous people, whose philosophy is that every decision you make, you have to think 7 generations ahead, how it impacts those people, which we have not done in the Western system, and that's brought us to where we are. So these are amazing leaders. They have been knocking on so many homes. They're amazing. I mean, this is a Title I school, right, in East Oakland, and they have risen to the top. These are our Greta Thunbergs. So guys, you wanna?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I think it's really excellent. You're an inspiration to all of us. And we're in good shape if you're the future leaders. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Gaia, did you have more?
Yeah, let me give a great deal of recognition, honor, and thanks to our future scientists. And Nicola, this is how you open up the doors and open up our minds that there's something bigger than just the neighborhood, but we can get there. And I think these 3 individuals and the other students you have, they'll never forget their first experience. And I believe that one day there will be our scientists that they got to take care of down the line. Larry Brooks, myself, and John, we're not only paying for our Social Security, but also taking care of our health as well. But I want to thank you. And my only request to all of you and to Mr. Brooks, I need your leadership in terms of making sure the follow-up and the conversation. I will schedule it with the Oakland City Council, but based on this issue, this experience, your leadership is outstanding in terms of making sure the city and the county move forward. And I just want to have one of you, keep a foot in it with us, and don't let the city because we do a lot of talking, and so we don't get things done as soon as we should. So anyways, I just need your leadership in this role, okay? Thank you to all of you for the time. And thank you, students. Yeah.
That's great. The partnership with the Frontline Catalyst in the city of Oakland is only growing. Nicola, we just got word last night that there are some college student that has applied for a grant to do some lead work in Oakland. We're going to be connecting you all with those college students, as well as there's some high school students that are doing similar work. They're not getting a grant like the college student. So we want to connect you with the high school and college students that are also doing some lead work. And of course, we will continue in our partnership with you as well. It's been very exciting working with these young leaders. So we do intend to do that, and to follow up on your strategies. We want to help you in terms of your work with Oakland Unified School District, because I believe that to be extremely important. I'll be talking to our JPA directors in just a moment about the students that have been lead poisoned in Minneapolis that just came out yesterday. So what you are doing is not only protecting yourselves, but you're protecting other students. The work that you're doing, we're sharing it with people all across the country. So you're having an impact on other students elsewhere, as well as at high school and college level. So I thank you for your work as well.
Thank you.
I'll just wrap up and say thank you as well. And really awesome. I cannot tell you how much it warms my heart. I went to the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow last fall, and I spent a whole day with students in Scotland. It was really important for me to leave the conference venue and spend time with other young people. And I just want to let you know how much it means to me to see other people in our country, young people in our country, see the same things that I saw with the students who were over there. They were really focused on the impacts on climate refugees, young girls of color who are being displaced from the Amazon, from parts of sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia, who are going to be the face of sea level rise and other climate impacts because of actions we have here. So any work we do here to improve the environment, I just want you to know there are a lot of young men and women of color, girls and boys of color in other countries who are benefiting from your work. So sometimes it feels like you're working on it. It may feel like a science project or something you're just learning about, but what you're doing actually is related to real world impacts for other people just like you who live elsewhere in the world. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Agenda item number 6 is the director's report.
Director's report. Sharing now. Let me begin by just saying happy belated Earth Day. Last year, Earth Day actually fell on a JPA meeting, I believe, and we were able to talk a little bit about what was going on internationally in terms of saving our planet. This year, it fell after the meeting. It was last Friday, but just wanted to say happy Earth Day. And though we can't talk about what's going on internationally for the sake of time here. So thank you, Director Botters, for giving us a little bit of information while talking to the students about saving our planet. What we will do is just, as I hinted a moment ago, tell you a little bit about late breaking news going on nationally, because as I indicated in talking to the students, what's going on in other parts of the country are affecting us here in terms of the information we're gathering, and then we're sharing information with other jurisdictions all across the country. So I mentioned Minneapolis just yesterday announced that 3,000 children, primarily children of color, have been lead poisoned. And so the Minneapolis officials are saying that they're going to now get serious about lead. I would have thought they were serious about it a long time ago, but I kind of get it in terms of our school districts Some that we've been talking to are doing more than others. I hope that our Frontline Catalyst students are able to make an impact on Oakland Unified School District in terms of lead poisoning prevention, and maybe even getting some blood lead testing done through the schools, because we are finding that in some instances, some of our children with high levels of lead in their blood are not getting to clinics to do follow-up visits. Our nurses try to get them to get their parents to take them to the clinics to get follow-up blood lead testing so that we can find out if our treatment plans are working, if their blood lead levels are going down, or if we need to do more in order to bring their blood lead levels down. And we've discovered that in many instances, parents have challenges getting their kids back for that follow-up blood lead test. Maybe it's because they're working, because they have many other kids that they're taking care of. They don't have transportation, but we know that parents do find ways to get their kids to school. And we've discovered it across the country. There are some school districts that are actually doing blood lead testing or requiring blood lead testing before kids are even allowed in school, so they can figure out ahead of time if any of these kids have been ill to the point where it is affecting their learning capacity. So that is something that I'm going to be talking with folks hopefully in Minneapolis soon about what strategies are they going to implement now that they're saying it's time to get serious. Also on this slide, you can see that there's a story that was done by ABC on Midwest kids have some of the highest blood lead levels in the nation. So kind of dispelling that myth in terms of folks who live in the Midwest, supposedly because many of the people in the Midwestern states are not in these highly urbanized city environments, that they don't have children that are lead poisoned. We knew long ago that was not true, but it's interesting that this article has come out, this series that is going to be done by National Public Radio, where they're going to be investigating high levels of lead in children in Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. We're going to be following up on that as well in order to see not only the data and the results of the investigation, but also to find out what types of strategies are going to be implemented by healthy homes and public health departments in order to address that. And then lastly, just want to mention that the situation in Syracuse, this article that came out where it's indicating that lead poisoning has surged during the pandemic, and that we're looking at that too. We're talking amongst all of our child lead poisoning prevention programs up and down the state, and everyone is kind of fearing that because of the pandemic, again, that was another barrier to children getting blood lead tested. And now, as Dr. Fauci has said, we're reached the in-pandemic stage here. We're no longer in a pandemic. We're moving away from this whole thing of COVID and sheltering in place and whatnot. The concern is now parents will get their kids out, get them blood lead tested, and we're going to see a different kind of surge, not a COVID surge, but a surge in elevated blood lead levels. We know that when the pandemic first started, even we saw children that were having elevated blood lead levels as a result of parents who were stuck at home, that were doing home improvement projects to pass the time away, and they weren't properly trained to do so. And so we saw a spike at the beginning of the pandemic. Now we expect to see this different kind of spike because of the fact that during the pandemic, a lot of rental property owners, or I know they like to be called housing providers now as opposed to landlords. So we know that a lot of housing providers have not been doing maintenance on their rental units. As we come out of the pandemic, we do anticipate that there will be maintenance work done, that it will be done by people who are not trained, who have not taken the one-day lead safety renovation repair painting course. and that they will end up causing some children to have elevated blood lead levels. So all these things that we're hearing about that are happening across the country, we're looking at that closely. And as Director Gallo has indicated, we need to talk with our partners in Oakland because we want to try to get ahead of the curve. We do have a resource that many of these other jurisdictions do not have in terms of those lead settlement dollars. So we need to figure out ways to use them in such a way as to prevent some of the calamities that are taking place in other parts of the nation. If there's no questions on this, I'll go to the next slide.
The questions on this item? Go ahead.
So one of the things that you heard in our last JPA meeting, of course, is that our education and engagement outreach folks are implementing a number of strategies in order to educate the public on the dangers of lead poisoning, the importance of getting proper lead safety training for renovation, repair, painting work, getting homes and children tested. And so I know Johnny did a presentation on some of our social media stuff that the team has been doing at our last JPA meeting. So I just want to point out that on Earth Day in the Oakland Post, we had this ad that was running, and there are a number of other outreach efforts that are being made, including the partnership with Frontline Catalyst, in order to try to get the word out in order to prevent lead poisonings. There's a number of other things that are coming up soon in terms of radio and TV that the team is working on, and we'll be sharing that with you in future meetings. Any questions on this slide?
Anybody have a question? Seeing none, go ahead.
So the California Healthy Housing Coalition, we are a part of that coalition that was formed as a result of a Kresge Foundation grant, in fact. And every year, all the various members of the Healthy Housing Coalition, it's made up of both government, nonprofit organizations, even private organizations that are devoted to promoting healthy housing. Every year we have an annual meeting. The last couple of years, due to the pandemic, it's had to be held virtually. Oftentimes I am asked to come and speak at the coalition meetings. And for this year's virtual meeting, I was actually asked to speak on a panel along with the Green and Healthy Homes Initiative, actually headquartered in Baltimore, a fantastic organization that has done a lot of things with regards to lead poisoning prevention, and also representatives from Regional Asthma Management Program. We were all asked to speak to the 47 attendees from different organizations up and down the state on resources for promoting healthy housing. Green and Healthy Homes Initiative, being headquartered there near Washington, D.C., did a great presentation on the various types of federal grants that are available for people to apply for to promote healthy housing and lead poisoning prevention. Regional Asthma Management Program did a presentation on resources for funding asthma prevention. And then I was told that I could pretty much choose what I wanted to talk about as far as healthy homes resources. And I chose to talk about the Healthy Homes Department. So this is just one of my slides from the presentation I did, but the emphasis here was in terms of resources. I felt that for the 47 organizations that were present at the Healthy Housing Coalition conference, that they needed to know where the grant opportunities were, but they also needed to know how to apply. And then even if they were successful in receiving the grants do come with strings attached, and they needed to have an understanding of how to navigate through, say, the HUD Lead Hazard Control grants, which the HUD headquarters has made us one of the mentors to the grantors here in California. We've mentored Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency, Fresno, a number of other jurisdictions. once they receive the HUD grant and they need help with managing the grant, understanding what the goals and objectives are of the grant, we've had them come to our office. We've traveled to them. We've done virtual trainings with various organizations, helping them to understand how to apply for the grants, how to manage the grants. Same thing with the California Department of Public Health grants for nursing case management. Like HUD, DPH has asked us to be a mentor to different jurisdictions that are receiving those grants. We do a lot of mentoring even here with the city of Berkeley, because Berkeley has its own public health department and is entitled to actually apply for DPH grants as well. National Center of Healthy Housing has asked us to do some mentoring, do presentations across the nation on what our program does. And then the National League of Cities has asked us to be a consultant to other cities on the proactive rental inspection programs that some of them are proposing. And then I've also shared with the group there that we do collect a lot of data locally and nationally. I do want to share with them the Frontline Catalyst data, and that we are available to the California Healthy Housing Coalition to assist organizations in providing the type of data that can make them competitive in those grants. And then we also do a lot of stuff in regards to legislation and policy. And so we asked to partner with the California Healthy Housing Coalition on a couple of policy initiatives that we think will generate even more resources for healthy housing. Any questions?
Questions? Seeing none, go ahead.
And along those lines, I am proud to say that I was reached out to this week by the Lead and Environmental Hazards Association, and they said they held a meeting, and someone on their board suggested that I be appointed to the association's board of directors. Yeah. And apparently there were a number of members who nationally who have heard of me, and so they voted unanimously to place me on the board. So we will have another partnership in which we will share knowledge and gain knowledge with regards to healthy housing, lead in particular. So again, I am honored that my name came up, and even more deeply honored that they voted me in.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. If no questions, I'll go to the next slide.
Go ahead.
So just quick update, Senator Bob Archuleta's bill, SB 1076, that would require that all workers who do paint remediation work on pre-78 housing would have to be RRP certified. I testified on Tuesday before the Public Safety Committee, and it was moved by a 5-0 vote, unanimous vote. The bill was moved from Public Safety now to the Appropriations Committee. It had been in the Environmental Quality Committee before that. That's where it started. We are now hoping that it'll get through the Appropriations Committee so that it can then move on to the Assembly floor. We're really excited about this bill because it plays a key role in the work that we plan to do with the lead settlement dollars, because we hope to use the lead settlement dollars to promote lead paint remediation work and to provide workforce development opportunities to train people. But you can't be that effective at generating job opportunities if we have this underground system of people doing work and they're not certified to do the work. So we have to tie that loose end up in order to be more successful in using the lead settlement dollars. So the Board of Supervisors just this week voted to send a letter of support for this bill. We have a number of organizations from the county, including Impact Oakland Now, which was founded by former Oakland City Council member Desley Brooks, the Bay Area Business Roundtable. A number of county and Bay Area organizations have signed on to the support letter for this bill. So we really think that this thing is going to fly through the legislature and get signed by the governor, and everyone will be better for it. Any questions?
Questions on Senate Bill 1076? Seeing none, go ahead.
And then just lastly, this bill that is actually being sponsored through the Regional Asthma Management Prevention folks that I had mentioned a minute ago, because they head up the California Healthy Housing Coalition. They, along with these other organizations, are sponsoring this healthy and heat resilient homes bill that we are also tracking very closely because we believe that it will have an impact on the Healthy Homes Department in the future if it were to pass. We've been asked to consult with them on it to provide some information with regards to habitability codes, with regards to heat and cooling. And so we hope that this bill will pass, but we know it's going to run into a lot of opposition because if rental units have to be modified in order to provide comfortable temperatures for people to live in, it's going to cost housing providers, or landlords. It's going to cost them money to make modifications to these units. And so we anticipate that there's going to be a lot of resistance with this bill as it tries to make its way through the legislature. So we're tracking it, and we will keep you posted on this bill in future JPA meetings as well.
Okay.
Any questions?
I see none.
That concludes the director's report.
Okay. The director's report having been concluded, is there any public comment on the director's report?
There's no public comment.
Okay, is there any director comment or questions? Thank you for the thorough update on that. Next is the March monthly report.
Okay. I'm highlighting the Tech Exchange sale event. This was an organization that we partnered. This is a new organization that we partnered, which we met actually at a previous outreach event at Hoover Elementary School. Tech Exchange provides free refurbished computers and digital literacy training to low-income families and supported schools and communities' technology needs. They were a great resource because, you know, we saw the connection between, you know, the families and also the opportunity for the families to apply for our program services. So the event that we held, actually, there was about 15 people that showed up, and we received 3 applications for the lead hazard control program. So we believe that was a successful event. That's the highlight for the monthly report.
Okay, is there anybody who has a question or comment on the monthly report? Is there any public comment for the monthly report? Seeing
There's no
none.
public comment.
Okay, seeing none. That will conclude the March monthly report. Item 8 is future agenda items. Do any members have a future agenda item they wish to have discussed? I have one item. My item is a calendaring item. My organization that I work at full-time has an annual retreat. It has been moved. Traditionally, it's later in the year, but it's been moved for staffing reasons to the last week of July. And I will be all day in a retreat in Atlanta, working on full-time on healing and trauma services for crime victims. And so I was just wondering if members would just prefer that I not be here on the, we have to have a quorum from 2 ways. 1, Oakland has to be present, but two, you have to have a minimum of 3 folks. And so we try to always make available to everyone. I just want to flag. So if folks don't care that I'm gone, we don't need to do a calendaring item. If you'd like to try to move it to the week before on a different day, like we've done once or twice for folks in the past, I just need to ask if we want to calendar this for the next meeting to discuss a date to change it so that we have quorum potentially. Director Gaia, you're laughing. So what are you going to tell me? You don't need me.
We're available when you are, so we want to have you present.
Let's move the date.
Okay, so if we could just have then for the next meeting an agenda item, Ladise, to just discuss calendaring the July 2022 meeting at a new date, special meeting potentially. We'll
Okay.
we'll have a discussion. Okay, anyone else have a future item? Director Wengraf?
No, I was just
You
wanted to comment on your
You're
presence.
high-fiving me virtually. I love it. Okay. Okay, that ends future agenda items. Announcements by members of the Board of Directors. No, I have one, which is, it will come as a day late, but it's no less important. I just want to give a special appreciation to Ladice de la Fuente on Administrative Professionals Day, and in recognition of you and everyone else at the agency and across the county who does work to support us. Meetings don't just happen. We show up to them, but they are prepared and noticed, and information is followed up upon. Our ability to receive our stipends and compensation for the work we do, the public noticing, the appearing at fairs and events, and providing information does not just happen. There's a silent but strong group of people in the world of administrative professionals who make all agencies function better. And I just want to extend my deepest appreciation to you and everyone else at the agency who performs such a function. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Seeing no other announcements, the time is 9:53 and this meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you all at the end of May. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Director Guile will be seeing you this evening.